The diplomatic shuttle Crescent Moon descended through the amber atmosphere of Xerion Prime, carrying humanity's first official delegation to the Vulpine Commonwealth. Adnan pressed his face against the viewport, watching crystalline spires pierce through clouds that shimmered like oil on water. "First time seeing a beastfolk world?" asked Nihal, his fellow xenobiologist, as she secured her equipment cases. Her dark eyes sparkled with the same excitement that had driven them both through years of academy training. "First time seeing any alien world," Adnan admitted, running a hand through his black hair. "Hard to believe we're actually here. The Commonwealth had been humanity's first contact with intelligent alien life, a collection of species that resembled anthropomorphic animals from Earth's mythology. After decades of cautious communication, both sides had agreed to this cultural exchange program. Their shuttle touched down in the capital's diplomatic quarter, where towering fox-eared vulpines in flowing robes waited alongside wolf-like lupins in military dress. But Adnan's attention fixed on a smaller figure standing apart from the official delegation, a cat-eared woman with silver fur and striking green eyes, wearing the simple blue robes of a research assistant. "That must be our liaison," Nehal whispered, consulting her tablet. "Zara of the Silvertail clan. She's supposed to help us with our xenobiology research." The formal introductions proceeded smoothly enough. Ambassador Korvax, a distinguished fox-eared elder, welcomed them with flowery speeches about interspecies cooperation. But Adnan noticed Zara hanging back, her ears flattened slightly, a sign of nervousness he'd learned from the cultural briefings. As they were led to their quarters, Adnan found himself walking beside the quiet Beastwoman. She moved with fluid grace, her silver tail swishing behind her in complex patterns he was beginning to recognize as emotional indicators. "The research facilities are quite impressive," he offered, trying to break the ice. "We're excited to learn about your biotechnology." Zara's ears perked up slightly. "Humans are smaller than I expected," she said in accented but clear English. "But your reputation precedes you. They say humans can adapt to any environment, solve any problem." "We're persistent, I'll give us that," Adnan laughed. They paused at a junction where maintenance workers were moving equipment. The corridor was narrow, forcing them to squeeze past. As Adnan stepped aside to let Zara through first, he accidentally brushed against her tail with his hand. The reaction was immediate and startling. Zara's entire body went rigid, her pupils dilating to thin slits. A soft, almost musical sound escaped her throat, somewhere between a purr and a gasp. "I'm so sorry," Adnan stammered, pulling his hand back. "I didn't mean to." But Zara was already hurrying away, her tail now tucked protectively against her body, leaving Adnan confused and mortified. The next morning brought their first research session. Adnan arrived at the biotechnology lab to find Zara already there, but something had changed. She stayed close to him throughout the day, helping with equipment, translating technical terms, and offering insights into vulpine biological processes. Her previous shyness had transformed into attentive, almost protective behavior. "She's been asking about human customs all morning," Nehal whispered during a break. "Specifically about you. What do you mean?" "Dietary preferences, sleep patterns, whether you have a mate," Nehal grinned. "I think you've made an impression." The pattern continued over the following days. Wherever Adnan went, Zara appeared shortly after. She brought him meals suited to human nutrition, guided him through the city's winding streets, and patiently answered his endless questions about Commonwealth culture. Her presence was becoming as constant as his shadow. "This is unusual behavior," admitted Dr. Thyra, an elderly wolf-eared behavioral specialist whom Nahal had consulted. "For vulpine females, the tail is, how do you say, an intimate area. Physical contact there indicates either aggression or deep affection. For her to allow such contact from an alien species and then exhibit protective bonding behavior." "Protective bonding?" Adnan asked. "She has claimed you as her responsibility, perhaps even more than that." The truth of this became evident during their expedition to the Crystal Forests. The research team had traveled there to study the symbiotic relationship between the crystalline trees and native wildlife. While Adnan was collecting samples, a pack of native predators, six-legged creatures with crystalline fangs, emerged from the undergrowth. The vulpine guards raised their energy weapons, but Zara moved first. She placed herself directly between Adnan and the predators, her claws extended, a low growl rumbling from her throat. The lead predator, easily twice her size, paused at her display of aggression. Fascinating, breathed Nehal, recording everything. She's using herself as a shield. But Adnan wasn't content to hide behind anyone. Drawing on humanity's greatest strength, their adaptability and quick thinking, he grabbed a crystalline branch and struck it against a nearby tree trunk. The resulting harmonic resonance sent the predators fleeing, their sensitive hearing unable to tolerate the frequency. Zara turned to him, her eyes wide with amazement. "How did you know that would work?" "I didn't," Adnan admitted. "But humans have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. We figure things out as we go." That evening, as they sat by their campfire, Zara finally explained her behavior. "In our culture, when someone touches our tail without permission, it usually means they're challenging us to combat or—" She paused, her ears turning pink, declaring romantic intent. "When you didn't attack me afterward, I assumed the latter. And you were okay with that assumption?" "Humans fascinate us," she said simply. "You're not the strongest or fastest species, but you never give up. You adapt to anything, survive everything, and still maintain your curiosity and kindness. When I thought you might be interested in me," she shrugged, "I wanted to see if I could be worthy of a human's attention." Adnan reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and gently took her hand. "You've been worthy of my attention since the moment we met. The tail thing was just an accident, but getting to know you, that's been the best part of this whole mission." Their research expedition became something more after that, a true partnership between species, built on mutual respect and growing affection. They discovered 3 new forms of crystalline biological symbiosis, developed a universal translation protocol for emotional tail movements, and proved that sometimes the most important diplomatic breakthroughs happen not in conference rooms, but in quiet moments of understanding between individuals. When their shuttle departed Zarian Prime 3 months later, it carried more than scientific data. Zara had accepted a position with the Human Diplomatic Corps, becoming the first Vulpine to take up permanent residence on Earth. As they watched her homeworld shrink behind them, Adnan marveled at how a simple accident had led to something so profound. "Still can't believe it all started with brushing her tail," he murmured. Beside him, Zara smiled, her tail curled contentedly around his arm. "In my culture, we believe everything happens for a reason. Perhaps the universe simply knew we needed each other." Nehal, reviewing her research notes, looked up with a grin. "Wait until the Academy hears about this. Human accidentally initiates interspecies courtship ritual through xenobiological ignorance. They'll never let you live it down." But Adnan didn't mind. Sometimes the best discoveries came from the most unexpected accidents.